Shanti, and welcome everyone. Before I introduce Dr. Prashant, may I have a show of hands who's here for the first time? Welcome. Welcome. As you know, we have these Dharma talks or workshops every Tuesday evening, and we're fortunate to have Dr. PrashantKakoday here. I wouldn't say visiting. He comes ever so often, and this is his home. And not only is he a physician, a surgeon, and the director of the Center for Integral Health in Cambridge, but he also runs and manages the programs for the Raja Yoga Meditation Center there in Cambridge. And aside from being a world speaker, not speaking to the world, but speaking to different countries and places in the world, World Health Organization, United Nations. Aside from that, I've known Dr. Prashant for some years now, and he is someone who really practices what he talks about. He will sit and take people and have experimental meditation and really help give that experience of what it means to take time out for yourself and really focus your life. So that even when you leave here today, how can you sustain, this understanding of happiness, how I can cultivate that.
The subject of happiness is, very, very important for us, and we all know its benefits at many levels. Just they say if you smile, lots of relationships, lots of situations at work can be solved without speaking. Just as one smile has that much power. And at the level of the body, we know how much it affects. Just like stress creates lots of problems, happiness also has lots of cures. But positive psychologists tell us that our potential for happiness is a lot higher. And we don't experience our full potential. Is it like that here? Or is it full potential? Always happy? This is described nicely in one story with Socrates. Once one young man comes to Socrates and asks him, "Should I get married?" And Socrates thinks about it for a while. And then he says, "Truly it doesn't matter." Because you will suffer in either case. And that describes our mindset and our model to life. That human beings suffer regardless of their successes and achievements and about their position. And their mind is still the same. And they say that mind has some kind of a complaint going on. So, just as an example, say there are 10 things going really well in your life, and one thing is not quite right. Where do you think you will give more time? You will sort of give more time to this one wrong thing that is going on. Say someone has done 100 good things to you. In your interaction over the years, 100 good things. But he did one mistake. It is possible. You might give that one situation undue importance. People break relationships, people start wars, because sometimes this one small thing. So this is why we need to understand this a little bit more. There is a system in positive psychology that has evolved over the last 25-30 years, and it is trying to understand this mind differently. So here we'll see some of the bit of a history of this subject. Aristotle is possibly the first scientist. He was a philosopher, but also did proper study of various things in a scientific way. He was the teacher of Alexander the Great many years before Christ, as you see here. And his beautiful comment that we do everything for happiness. Happiness is the beginning, happiness is the end. Happiness is important for us. So, for instance, you come out of this building, you are going to the car, you can turn left or right. And if you turn left, there are flowers and there is nice fragrance. Right, there are no flowers. Which route will you choose? You all the time think what will make you happy. If there are two items to eat, both are nourishing, but one is more tasty. Which one will you choose? We choose happiness, and then this is important for us. This is the way we are. But it is so important we can do wrong things because of happiness. Because of some short-term happiness, we can create problems to ourselves. Instant gratification, but see the consequences. Am I clear? It is not really a talk. Feel free to ask anytime. To make your comments and your experiences. So here, there's a sense of inner well-being, long-term. This is what we are really interested, rather than happiness of ice cream. So Socrates, he was ultimately the teacher of Aristotle. Plato was senior to Aristotle and then Socrates. But these are the people who have beautiful study in this subject. Now, present-day science and positive psychology, they do wonderful experiments. For example, they study the lifeline of people. At the age of 5 what happens, at the age of 10, 15, and study them over their lifetime and see what is happening. How childhood affects their life at the age of 40 and at the age of 60. And they're following up, every 5 years, these people, and different patterns. They study those who have lived 100 years. And what is the common factor in those who lived 100 years? And they try to find out from them, and people in all cultures, there are people who have lived 100 years. And their personal ideas are very different. That's why science has different, there is authenticity and authority there in science, because they see objectively what is going on. So when you ask these people, what is the secret of your, this health and age, there are all kinds of answers. One person says, coffee every day. That is the secret. And another person says, cold shower. Every day he has been taking cold shower, and that is the secret. But he insists you have to dry properly. And some have been smoking, and some have been drinking, all kinds of lifestyles. It really shows there is all varieties. But there are some common factors. Would like to make a guess, what is the common thing in those who lived 100 years?
Social support. Social support.
Social support, yes. Okay, what
Happiness.
Happiness. What else?
Innocence.
Innocence.
Like children.
Right, yes. In these cases, they find their sense of humor, but they can laugh at themselves.
I thought it was they have no peer pressure.
All kinds of things, But common factor in all, they know to laugh at themselves. It is connected with innocence. In other words, if you can't laugh at yourselves, if you've got that heaviness there, that is a sign of spiritually weakness. And there is some kind of ego and all that. You can't take jokes. If you can take jokes at yourselves, if you can laugh at yourselves, that is a healthy sign. So you like jokes? You like to laugh at yourself? Yeah. Good, very good.
That word.
No?
You're dismissed.
That's right. That's right. Yes. And certainly you will live 100 years. Now, in one area they are studying what makes people happy. That is nice to see what is going on in this world. And what they find, many observations are contrary to our commonly held beliefs. Understand that? Like as we said, people believe, to drink coffee is good, some say to be vegetarian is right, to live 100 years, but the reality is very, very different as in this connection. People have from all backgrounds to live 100 years, but mind has influence. In the same way, when you ask those who are 15 years of age what they want to achieve, what will make them happy, their answers will be something like this. They want to be famous. 15-year-olds. They want to be a celebrity, they want to be beautiful, they want power, position, wealth, and sense pleasures. This is what most people think will make them happy. Agree? Now let me come to this. You recognize this face?
Yeah.
Now, at the age of 20, his comment, life is a wonder, and life is a wonder for him. Amazing, he's puzzled by the interest people are having in his music and how Americans are reacting to his music. He is absolutely puzzled by this. This is John Lennon at the age of 35. And his comment is life is a torture. What happened in between? He had success.
He got what he wanted.
That's right. So he had all this. You can't think of a person more successful than John Lennon. He had fame and he had wealth and he had attention from people and beauty. He had everything. But he says life is a torture. Understand now? And many things, he says he was jealous and he is angry and all kinds of complications going on. So if these factors were the cause of happiness, all our celebrities would have been constantly happy. But the reality is most of them have got psychiatrists and as time progresses, life becomes more complicated and it enters into degradation also for some people. So the equation is more complicated than just you need wealth and fame. Am I clear? Now it is also seen we all need wealth, but connection between wealth and happiness is not seen beyond a certain minimum. For example, one person say, in this area I has got 5 million, another got 5 billion. There is no difference in their mental state. It is just statistics. One can say I got 5 billion, other says I got 5 million. That is all. Inner state, it has no connection. On the other hand, you can also see someone has got 500 and he may be happy also. I'm not saying he is more happy, but he also got some moments of happiness and some moments of joke and laughter and some moments of disappointment. So also one with 5 billion.
So if you're a billionaire and you want to be happy, you should become a philanthropist.
Right. Good, good. Yeah, we'll come to this. Yeah, that's very good. Now, another thing for us to know, we adapt. For example, say you win a lottery. From your whatever present situation, suddenly you have won millions. So now you got gold everywhere, that the lamp shade is all surrounded by gold, and this is all fragrance and special place, special house, special people all around you. Excellent. After 3 months, you won't notice this gold. First few weeks, you are so excited about it. You tell people, look at this gold, you will notice it. After 3 months, you won't notice it. You adapt. And your inner state will be just the same as it was 3 months earlier. Same thing is seen other way around. There are people who may choose to lead a simpler life. They may go to another country, for different reasons, maybe to do the volunteer work. Sometimes people go to another place. They lead a different life. After a few weeks, after a few months, they quite enjoy it. They adapt to their lifestyle. It's useful to know this factor in our planning. Most people don't consider this factor in planning. And they feel you will need the same structure, the same thing. But we have ability to adapt. Now, one observation, they saw that there are these different categories of people. They tried to make this, different categories. So some are takers, some are havers, and some are givers, and some are robbers, all kinds of people. Which category is the happiest? Givers. That's right. You will find in every community, in your street, in a little village, there will be some old lady who all the time has attention on others, Like if you are sitting here, there will be someone who will be having attention, Is she comfortable, So she might need a different chair and someone might need water. Giving is not big giving, physical, Most people just need time, some words, some attention, some simple things. But there are some who are givers, and they are found to be the happiest lot. They are blessed people. They also see that each of these other categories have got their own mind. For example, takers, what is their mind? What is going on in their mind?
How can I get?
How can I get it? And as a result, complaint. They feel others are not giving enough. So regardless of what they get, their mind is of complaint. They may get from 10 people, but this person has not given. The taking is not just physical taking. Taking can be, I want love, I want respect, I want attention. It is taking. They don't feel they should give attention to others. That is not their agenda. Their plan is, how can I take things? So this is mind. Havers, what is in the mind of havers?
Have to protect it.
They can lose. They got so much to lose. So mind is worrying about things. As we said, having is not necessarily gold everywhere. It can be my. There's too much of my everywhere. This is mine, and this is mine, and these children are mine, and this cat is mine. So you got so much to lose. So you're all the time worrying about losing things. We have a choice. We can see myself as a trustee. There are things around, but I'm a trustee. We don't have to be heavy on this word, mine. This is mine. The children, they're children, not my children. Understand that? So more you use the word my, or feel inside, that will bring worry of losing. That I got more to lose. Robbers. What is going on in the minds of robbers?
How can I get it for nothing?
That's right, that is one. And robbers, their mind is of guilt that is going on. So there are robbers who are never caught, but they know themselves. They know their actions. And they say that guilt doesn't leave them. Conscience is there in everyone. We all know this. And that dominates, regardless of their success. The guilt dominates. I know one person who he says in his words, he used to have all kinds of behavior before, and he was a robber also, and into drugs, many things. The degradation was extreme. But big change in the last 15 years. So he has transformed, and he is inspiring many others to change. Big transformation. But he says, even today, after many years, he is not free from that hang-up, from that guilt that comes from the past. As an example, say, middle of the night, just giving an example, you hear some sound in your house, some door, and at 1 o'clock at night, there is some rattling sound in the window. What would be your first thought?
Earthquake.
California earthquake. Yeah, we're talking of some sound of a person. What will be your first thought?
Someone's coming in?
Yeah, some robber.
Yeah.
That will be your first thought. He says, for him, the first thought is that police? He is not worried about robbers. He is worried about policemen. And this is happening even after all these years, 15 years. Anyone here has fear of police? Very good. So in studies, they see definite relationship between good work and your mental well-being. Somehow it is connected with your self-respect. I can get respect from others. I can buy respect. Many people will respect me. But self-respect is a difficult thing, because it is based upon your life, and you know yourselves. You know your past, and you know your motives, and you know your keyhole morals, and you know your dreams. You know your life, and that is what creates self-respect. So if that your personal life is not right, then it is difficult to get self-respect. Others may respect you, but you don't have self-respect. And so here, some work, some attention at that pace, because everyone else may think that they don't give you respect, but you know your secrets, you know your motives, you know your past. Understand now? You know your feelings inside, and that is what is the basis of real inner happiness here. So good work and psychological well-being, there is a definite link. So this is in science language, it is described as intrinsically motivated volunteers. We said earlier, some old lady, having sort of intention to help, she has attention on neighbors, someone is ill, she is taking care of that. She's doing it from inside. If you are told to do this and you do it, it doesn't bring the same results. There are some people who do volunteer work, they go to the hospital and they spend 10 hours a week with some old people, with patients, but they do it to get a score. Those who do it from their own motive, intrinsically motivated, then the results are big. Let me demonstrate this. Let us say you get a chocolate. Understand? Someone gives you a chocolate, and you like this chocolate very much. What do you think will happen to this chocolate in 10 seconds? Very likely it will disappear. As an experiment, don't eat this chocolate. Just an experiment. Think of someone who will enjoy that chocolate more. Maybe someone who don't get chocolates that easily. Preferably a stranger. Not your own children or your friend. Stranger. And give that chocolate away. And see what you feel. If you eat the chocolate, it will make you happy for 10 seconds. If you give it away, it will make you happy for 10 hours, maybe. Many times you hear examples of people, they say they did something like this. They shared a meal with somebody else. And after years, if they think of that situation, it makes them happy. Understand? Just they have to think of that situation. What happens? One is the other person is made happy. That's why you're happy. But something else happens. As we said all along, there is self-respect changes. Understand? You feel good with your own actions. And one statement made by researchers, not many people know the connection between giving and happiness. Most people think taking will make us happy. Understand? Eating will make me happy. Giving away will make us happy. Not many people know, they say. And this is why we all have to explore this subject. That's why we said as an experiment. Do this experiment. See what you feel in different situations. Also, it is not an extra chocolate that you give away. We all have the experience of giving away an extra chocolate. But it should be the only chocolate. And chocolate that you like very much. If you give that away, the results are bigger. Understand? No? I'll give you some examples in this. We all have examples of this, and it is good for us to play with it, see, and collect our own experiences in this. We have a place in India, it is like an ashram. May I ask how many from here have been to our place, Madhuban? And I would like to indicate. Very few, yes. Now this place, it has got an auditorium that can hold 20,000. It is a huge auditorium. And it is 175 meters long. So when people are doing some repair or something, they use bicycle to go from one end to other end. Understand? It is 175 meters. So if you are at the back, you can't see the stage that clearly. You can see something going on there, but you can't see. You have to look at the screen, the television screen. And we were there, and I had a very nice seat in the front, and most people would like to sit in the front for obvious reasons. Want some special occasions, here it is full, and as time comes closer, it is getting busy, and there are no places, And then there was someone who was looking for a seat, understand, and there are no places. So I said, do you want to sit here? So he said yes, and he was sitting there, and I went right to the back, so it was 175 meters back, and it was floor, but there was space, so I could sort of sit properly and keep my things there, and the screen also was nearby, I could see on the screen. But for the next 4 hours, I experienced absolute bliss. I don't know to explain what was going on. It was absolute bliss. So much so that I didn't want to move even 1 inch forward. If there was a seat there in the front, I would not go at all. That I wanted to sit there. What was happening on the stage was as if happening right in front of me. I have been to that place many, many times. Sometimes I have been on the stage, sometimes I have been in the front row. I have got all kinds of experiences. But this experience is incomparable. Understand? Just I find it is like we all have different experiences. Certain thing you do a bit unusual and it connects, it sort of brings something else. Another time, this was in London, I was driving and someone was hitchhiking. So he came in the car and while talking I realized he is hungry. So I said, do you want to eat this? So he said yes. So this all disappeared. My supper, then we don't eat in the restaurants. That's one of our own personal system. So I arrived and there was no time also. After what I was doing, I went to the place where I was staying that night. And I was hungry. I was getting hunger contractions. But I was happy. And happiness was of a new kind of happiness. And I said, just I give some little things and it brings so much happiness. And I get a thought that time, what else can I give? Understand? If it just this little thing creates so much happiness, what else can I give? This was a thought exact. And I also had this thought that time, I did not know giving like this can bring so much happiness. And this is exactly what psychologists are saying now. That not many people know this connection. Understand? As I'm emphasizing in these cases, it was not the extra meal I'm giving, it is not an extra chocolate. You need to get hunger contractions. Then the results will be bigger.
I have that experience when I like to give homeless people money, something, and then there's something within all of a sudden, it's not euphoric, but silence that makes you happy, and kind of somewhat have it in mind. And anyway, same
reaction,
chemical reaction or spiritual, cosmic.
Yes.
It was like the story you're sharing, it's like, I think it was Gandhi's story or something, that he was staying in a place and there was a caretaker who took care of him and he hardly had any meal. And some youngsters came, so he gave his meal to them. So the lady said, but why did you do that? You didn't have anything to eat and you gave everything away. So they just turned around and said, it was more important to feed my soul than the body.
Nice.
Dr. Prashant.
Yes.
There's another kind of giving that is maybe not so prevalent in this fast-paced society we have, and that's listening.
Yes. Yeah, all kinds of giving. That's right. Giving attention, giving. Yes. Now another area, that has connection with happiness, and that is seen in studies. If you want to follow it up, some research papers and all, they discover that someone who lives by their strengths, virtues, values, it is connected to happiness. The difference is these are not convenience values. You understand? Convenience values. So today it is convenient for me to be nice, but tomorrow, I better, say that, all the virtues go out of the window because It is your virtue is more important than convenience and comfort. If someone goes by that, it connects with your self-respect, and it definitely converted into happiness. I'll give some examples here. Recognize the face. Now, his biography or autobiography is called Experiments with Truth. So his life was experiment. And at a young age, something like 35, 30, he realized that to hurt anybody is wrong. So that became one of his principles, non-violence. Understand that? So he will not hurt an ant, and he will not hurt a mosquito, and he will not hurt another human being. No personal criticism of anyone. He may have big challenges, policies and ideas, but no personal criticism. That is his principle. He will not hurt anybody, and he stayed with that principle. Okay, we all might like non-violence, but in the ashram where he used to stay, Sabarmati ashram, in Gujarat, there are snakes. Understand, no? And these are poisonous snakes. And sometimes there will be snakes in the hut where he stayed. Understand? So there is a snake, and the policy of the ashram is you don't hurt an animal, so you don't hurt a snake. So Gandhi sleeps here, and the snake sleeps there. Why should the snake die because of me? I die, Maybe the whole world thinks he is so important, but he lived with this. He risked his life, So principle non-violence was not convenience non-violence. He meant it. Now someone does something like that, it connects to your soul. It is connected to the soul. The body may die, but love will survive. This is his position. I love the snake, so there is no question of hurting the snake. And he says there were no accidents. 25 years they stayed in that ashram. That was the policy. It was not an occasional thing. Snakes are part of the landscape, and that no one was bitten by the snake. No accidents. As opposed to another attitude, you see slightest discomfort and you immediately use insecticide or find a way to sort of, snake, of course, it has to die because I don't like it. That's the end of it. That is very different thinking. But whatever principles, one understands and recognizes, if you live with it, it connects to the soul. It connects to your inner self-respect because you lived with this. Recognize this face? He was asked, when was his happiest time? Understand? He spent some 27 years in the prison, but also to know that there was no guarantee what will happen beyond prison. He could have been there all his life. Later he became the president, he was the hero of the world, and he get state receptions and prizes. Okay. When was his happiest time?
In jail?
He says when he was in jail. A very difficult life in jail, at that time. But if he says that was his happy time, it is because he knows his motives. He knows his past. He knows his dreams, and he knows his thoughts. He knows himself, and that creates self-respect. You understand? Whatever is your life, that is, you know yourself. And outer life our education system is so much to change our outer life, but there is zero attention to change the inner life. Understand? Mm-hmm. And we are seeing here quality of life is not. It has some connection with outer life, I don't ignore it, but it is largely connected with inner life. As we said, there can be gold everywhere, but I can still be depressed. But if the attention is paid to the inner life, outer life doesn't matter as if. This is what we are seeing here. Do you know this name? Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was in the concentration camp for more than 5 years. But the background to this is he was a neurologist and psychologist in Vienna, very successful one. And then he was in concentration camp. But because of his background, he was able to see the life situation from his psychological point of view. What people do under stresses and what people behave and how the prison guards behave. He was able to understand another psychology of human beings. And he makes a statement that what man needs is not just a comfortable life, but for our happiness we need some striving and struggling and learning, some challenges. This is what we need. As an example, say you may have a choice. You say you retire and you have a choice now to buy a nice house near the bay, lots of coffee and lots of chocolates and some television, lots of channels, television channels, holidays, very comfortable life. This is one kind of life you can choose. Another person chooses a life. He has also this option of a very comfortable life, but he chooses something else also with it. He takes on some projects and in which he may get criticized also, and he may have to work at night, and he has to do things, and he has to work hard. Understand? No? He has to miss a meal sometimes, and definitely no coffee. And someone also bossing you on top. All this is going on. What is noticed is those who choose a life where there are challenges and learning and some struggles, some striving, some renunciation. These people are happier a lot, as opposed to those who choose a comfortable life. In fact, they notice that those who choose this comfortable life, they end up with low-level depression as time progresses. Too much coffee. We will see that also, how that life leads to low-level depression. But if someone chooses some struggles and some purpose and some hard work, something gets connected inside you, and you find you are happier. Now, growing body of science evidence supports what he said. He said this 70 years ago, but people today, science today says that this is what they all know. You want to say anything? Feel free to ask or some of your personal experiences also. In our brain, there is a chemical called serotonin. There are more than 100 neurotransmitters in our nervous system. Serotonin is just one of them. But it has connection with happiness. So if the serotonin in the synapse is higher, they see that during that time the happiness is higher. 100% of depressed people, serotonin in the synapse becomes lower. Lots of antidepressants work through serotonin pathway. It's like Prozac. it holds serotonin longer in the synapse. Understand? No? So there are other, like dopamine is another neurotransmitter having connection with our mental state and depression and health, mental health. So here, let us try and see what happens to our serotonin in life. Am I clear about serotonin? So the nice way to understand it, those who are in control of their mind, they have good serotonin level. Those who are low serotonin, they can cry easily, they can get angry more easily. They cannot control. Those who are high serotonin, they can handle crisis better. With low serotonin, they crack. With slightest pressure, slightest thing, they can't handle it. So they can accept defeat if they are at a war. They can't handle it. That kind of crisis. They will accept defeat quickly. Whereas those with high serotonin, they will die, but they won't accept defeat. Understand? So when we say royal blood, there is some logic behind it. Somewhere in the ancestry, they were the ones who were not accepting defeat. Some might die, but they survive, they become the kings. So just a good example of this is Churchill in 1938 and 39. In his own words, there was hardly any hope of real success. Because England was getting bombed, and if an army was to come in from Europe, within 3 weeks, he says, they had to surrender. But to make a statement, we will never surrender. Understand? And challenge that. Everyone thought this is mad. What he is talking about is mad. This is what majority people say. But he believed it. That we can win here. Win. It shows a certain inner state, that mental state, and serotonin is one of the factors here. Now, here we are seeing a graph of serotonin level, but in this case, the computer has gone bit wrong, and so I will have to explain to you what happens. So at this point, he smokes a cigarette, and what happens? Level goes up. From here, level goes up. But in this computer, it shows like this. So I have to fix it at some point. Now, next thing that happens, after 3 hours, it starts to come down. You understand, no? You have to use your imagination.
Which I'm sure produces serotonin right there.
That's right. Serotonin will go up. That's right. So level goes up from here, and then 3 hours later he finds himself here. Understand? So he doesn't call it depression, but he feels a bit low. He says, doesn't like this, But he knows the answer, how to make him feel good. Another cigarette. That's right. And so level goes up again. And now he comes here. Have you seen cha-cha-cha dance?
Sure.
Cha-cha-cha? You like cha-cha-cha?
Yeah. Music, right? And I like tango.
That's right, I like tango. So in cha-cha-cha, you take 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. So this is cha-cha-cha graph. So all along he's looking for these highs, but he gets dragged backwards all along. And so now he needs cigarette just to feel normal. This is where he was to start with. Now his resting level is here, and when he smokes, he feels better. And And after a while, even cigarette doesn't work. So now he needs his cafe. And then he feels normal. And after a while, he needs stronger and stronger. It can be, you are caught in the spiral. Understand, no? It can be stronger coffee, more cigarettes, stronger cigarettes. I'm giving example of cigarettes. But in studies, other factors that create the same graph include chocolates, includes coffee, includes television, includes noise for some people. People get addicted to people. Is it possible?
Yeah.
So other person goes away, the serotonin comes down. Some people get addicted to computers and internet. So this word is used, internet addiction syndrome. Anyone here having internet addiction syndrome? So if the internet is not there, they feel restless. They become aggressive. Understand now? Because this Facebook and all kinds of things has become an addiction, for some people. May I ask here, how many did not watch television in the last week? Would like to. Congratulations. Good. So it is like, and I might encourage, all these things, we have to, nothing wrong with it, but we should be loosely involved with it. Otherwise it has power to become like a drug. Understand? And then without you knowing, if television is not working, you are not in control anymore. You feel depressed because you can't just watch some noise, some images. Some people, the moment they go in the car, their music is on, and they become dependent. So also people, say mother and children. Children go to grandparents. They're happy, but mother can have, low level serotonin. She feels depressed and she's missing. She knows children are happy, but she's missing because she has become addicted. So it is the same, at a deeper level, it is the same process. Addiction is taking place. So what we are seeing here with something like cigarette or drugs, it is the same thing is happening at many levels. So there are some psychologists that call our society of addicts. Oliver James is a psychologist. He is based in London now, but he was professor in another university. And his book is called Britain on the Couch. So he gives a very interesting journey of people. And in this case, various celebrities and well-known people. Other people are thinking they are having an amazing life. Understand, no? Because you see them smiling and you see their sort of wonder and beautiful dress. They all think. But when he studies their personal life, he sees what is going on there. Understand, no? Just like we were saying, someone is leading a very comfortable life. Lots of coffee and lots of holidays and lots of comfortable, gadgets and But that life, as we are seeing here, is heading towards a low-level depression. Whereas other people think he is having a wonderful life, he is having a great time. Understand that? Others think he is having a great time. When you ask the person involved, he is having all kinds of mind problems. Understand that? So he calls our society of addicts and low serotonin society. More so today's society than 100 years ago. Why? Why is today's society low serotonin?
Because nobody is in the moment anymore. You're always all over the place and distracted from the presence and depth. It's just always 100 years ago people had more personal connections and
Yes.
they would tell stories, and now it's just bombardment from outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And through technology, and
Technology.
Yes.
even the computers,
Yeah.
children.
Yeah. And at a very practical level, we have more prosperity. You know, like in statistics, they say we got 8 times more prosperity in last 60 years. We can afford many more times more things than our ancestors. But technology and science has made our life success. Understand now? Nothing wrong with this. Prosperity is good, and success is good, and technology is good, and science is good. But we have used this success to create another problem. You know, we have used this success to become dependent on many things and have become slaves to many things. And as a result, we, in medical books, one expression is used, failure of success. So success has become a cause of failure at another level. Understand? It doesn't need to be. And that's where we can intervene and take steps in our own life. That it's good to have the prosperity and good to use technology and good to have success. Very good. But let us also make a success of success. Understand? No? Not a failure of success. So in this situation, you know, something for us to question, what are the things we can introduce in our life that doesn't take us in this spiral, you know, the serotonin spiral, downward spiral. And small things we said is be involved with this world, but keep it loose. You know, one simple thing like tea or coffee, spend 1 week where there is no tea, no coffee. Whatever you feel, you are becoming, you know, you are using every day. Change your life a little bit and see if you are happy. And avoid it until you are happy. If you are missing something, then it means it is already becoming dependency. You know? If you are enjoying your own company, then you are having a healthy mind. Then you are okay with people. If you are not enjoying your company, then we got a method, you know, to work and to bring ourselves to that freedom and pay attention to the inner life rather than just improving outer life. Yeah, any other comments? Any other thoughts?
Would you say that in our Western society that thinking and working have become professions? The way we think? You know, as Gabrielle was saying, not being present, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, that kind of...
And these things are universal, you know. It is not just Western. You know, everywhere it is similar. We are in that direction. You know, there may be differences. One place we are caught with people, another place with coffee, and third place with wealth, different things. You know, one person may be too much caught with television, another with music, but we all over the world are in this spiral. Something more to be concerned about. This problem is greater in lower age groups. Age groups 15 to 25 compared to age group 55 to 70. The problem is greater at a younger age group. Because we are born, you know, they are born in a different world. Their friends are on the web. Understand? No? So they have lost the social skills to make friends and to deal with real life situations. So if the World Wide Web collapses, then it is not just the computer has stopped, they lose their friends. You know what I mean? Many things. So this world is different. And as parents and as individuals, we should be concerned about this. We have to first help ourselves, because we may not be into cigarettes and television, but still we may have to see what are we in the upward direction or are we in the downward direction? Is the direction right? But also, if we are aware of it, we may be able to guide the next generation the right way. Sometimes parents are so happy that children are having so many friends on the web and they are so clever with computers and they are watching so many television programs and they are happy with it. And now that kind, it's all good, but if they are getting caught in it, dependent on it, then the game is gone.
How do you suggest excuse me, how do you suggest maintaining your serotonin level?
High.
How do you suggest keeping it?
We will. This is the important subject, and various things we said, it is leading towards that. If you are experiencing this inner happiness, we said at the beginning, a very clear distinction, happiness of ice cream and happiness that is coming from inside. That happiness raises serotonin. Otherwise, you go to the doctors, they will give you on top of other problems, another problem. And you become dependent on the drugs. And after 3 weeks, those drugs don't work, but you are dependent on that drug anymore. So anything external is not the method to bring about change. Understand? So we have to start working at the inner level, and that is where there is the hope.
You're saying that all the drugs don't work after 3 weeks?
And definitely, the results become less. We spoke earlier about Prozac. Mm-hmm. After 3 weeks, it doesn't work.
We need more and more.
We need more.
Drugs that are taken for mental things, not necessarily like heart medicines and whatnot.
These are different. I'm not talking about all drugs, but tranquilizers, in this case. Yeah.
I really loved the picture in the beginning of the little girl chasing bubbles. I think there's a lot to that when you can just play or be in the wonderment of the world.
Yes.
That, to me, is, helps my mental state.
Yes.
I think you should as you grow older, become a little more childish.
Yes.
It's me actually.
Yes, excellent.
Dogs, playing like a child.
Yes.
Something
I was just thinking about success, that society it's perpetuated. I learned that because that's how I was taught, that I acquire things and so therefore I'm successful. That there's still a lot more takers out there. Look how many people we have here, and you bring up the concept of being a giver brings more happiness. But look at society; it's filled with takers. And they have no comprehension. And you're telling us that we sit here and think, and I think about, boy, he's right. I know he's right, but I'm afraid to try it, or because I've learned that that's what you do, because you want to acquire, you want to be successful, because that brings happiness. Even though you get there and you go, wait a second, I'm not happy. I was fed a bill of goods. Anyway.
It brought up a point for me. I've always been a giver, and I just recently heard that when you're in first grade, that type of personality defines you as the type of person you're going to be. So as a little girl, I always gave away my cookies. And it wasn't the extra cookie, it was my cookie. If you didn't have one, I gave you my cookie. And as I grew up, and to this day, I've been told and kind of reprimanded for giving away my cookies. Or even told, don't give me your cookies. You know, I can take care of myself. That's what people will say. So even more, it's harder to give to people now because they're so independent. They don't want to take from you. They don't want you to give them your cookie, you know. So it's very difficult. So it makes pain sometimes to give, is what I've noticed, you know, as I give and they say, no, I don't want that.
Yes.
And it hurts. And maybe that's the ego, but it's, you know, I'm giving of my heart my cookie. And being told, I don't want your cookie.
Well, there's a lot to be said for being receptive, a receiver as well.
Right. Yes. And coming to this subject, you know, of giving and taking, and what do you think, you know, is going on there? My common sense tells me, and this is the way we are brought up, you know, if I take, I win. If I give, I lose. So here you are telling me that if I give, I get more. You know, there's some happiness. What is going on? What is the psychodynamics? By giving away, how come there is happiness?
I think it's a little bit of a balance too, because it's important to learn how to receive also.
Yes. Yeah,
it's
that's
important
good.
to do both,
Yes,
to be able
yes.
to give to people and to receive the gifts.
Yes. But in this, you know, what is going on? By giving, you become happy. You know, what is going on there?
Self-esteem.
I wonder if you're raising the serotonin of somebody else, which in turn raises your own.
Helps you. Okay.
You open your heart. That's a beautiful feeling.
Yes.
It's this versus this, you know.
Yeah.
Giving is, and makes you feel closer to God.
Good. Let us see. Fun? You had any? What is? Yes.
I was just going to say, it's if all beings are energy, and you're giving energy, and then it creates more energy in turn.
Yes. Any other, you know, sort of. These are right answers. I'm just trying to get some new insights from some others. Fun, Elizabeth. Well, giving, how come? You know, it creates happiness. What is going on? You know, if I take, if I eat, I know this. It creates happiness. You know, maybe for 10 seconds. But if I give, where does this happiness come from?
Lately I've been just seeing and experiencing that if I'm in the flow, I'm healthy. And if I'm holding on, I become stagnant emotionally and mentally. And it doesn't matter whether they accept it or not. It doesn't, you know, even though, I'll get affected if they don't accept it, I'll acknowledge that. But just keep that act of giving. And especially when it's something you feel is precious to you. Most of the things I have, I don't need. I'll speak for myself. So flow. I would just say flow.
Giving is spirit.
I would like to bring something up that Eckhart Tolle says, and that I totally agree with, and I haven't heard this anybody speaking about that. But for me, it's being aware brings the joy. Just being aware. And I think with that awareness, which is the presence itself, with that awareness, there's a rippling effect that just gives, because it's like a lighthouse. It just gives. automatically.
Doctor, you said self-respect at the start of this talk.
Self-respect. Yeah, we touched that. Now let me bring in another factor in this equation. And let me demonstrate. Say you are at your home, and there may be 4 people at home, and you prepare food for your family, and there is enough food coming in, and life is going on. And all of a sudden, your friends arrive, middle of the day. But there are 30 of them. This is so nice to see you, so we were sort of missing you, nice to meet again, so they're so happy, But they say they're also hungry. So what will you do now?
Lose some friends.
You start cooking. Now, in your kitchen and in your fridge, there is enough food for maybe for 5 more. But just because there are 30 of them, it forces you to go in the kitchen store. Understand? And see what is there in the kitchen store. Normally, because there is so much coming in every day, there are some from your garden and there's food there for your 5-10 people. You don't need to go to the kitchen store. And as a result, you've forgotten what was there. You have not been there for a long time. But because you are forced there to discover the riches that are there, which you can use for others and you can use them for yourselves. You need to be forced to go. That's what then you discover. This is exactly what happens. You mention it in different words. You mention in heart and energy, but it is the same thing going on. Inside our heart, inside our soul, there are treasures. There are treasures of happiness also, there are treasures of love also, treasures of peace. There are treasures. This is what the spiritual knowledge tells us. Normally, we don't have a method to get in touch with it because we are leading those ice cream life. That happiness is coming from ice cream and it's finished, but I'm thinking of next ice cream tomorrow. And then I'll be happy again. So you are staying at that surface level and you don't have to dig deeper. If various things you have seen today, they are making you dig deeper. That's why we said, it has to bite. You have to give your only chocolate. You have to make some effort. You have to miss something. That helps you get connected. And is self-awareness. This is also important. We'll come to this also. There are different angles to come to this. But we have to learn to connect to this inner resource that we have. And then you are not depending on anything external. You are in the world, you are quite happy to be with nice people and nice job and nice, but you are not dependent on them because you have discovered the big treasure inside you. So here we are seeing, something very practical we can introduce, is exercise. And just walking itself is exercise. Just half an hour of walking. If you introduce this on top of what you ordinarily do, it will help your mental health as well as physical health. Something, regardless. Some are living in cities and not many opportunities. But still, it is good to introduce some exercise. It helps. In this study, it shows it is as effective as antidepressants. But more relevant for us, it prevents depression. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Now, in case you want some formula that you can take with you, remember. So happiness has direct connection with how much truth you know, and it is inversely proportionate to how many desires you have. So if you have got 20 desires, then your happiness will become less. Understand? If you have some intense desires, happiness will become less. More desires you create, happiness will become less. You can play with children, for example. In studies also they say, but you can just make an experiment. Some children, your son and grandson, may be very happy. And bring another child with another toy. And he gets desire now, I want that toy. And even if he has got 20 beautiful toys, you make him unhappy. He may have some food, he got enough, on his plate, but gives some new sweet to another child, and you create a desire in him, and he is unhappy now. Even that he has got all kinds of things on his plate. Same is the psychology with adults. Just the toys are different, and the things are different, but it is the same psychology. And we can fabricate desires. Understand? Not just like here in the experiment, you just stir up another desire in a child, and he's unhappy, miserable. Same can happen in an adult. You can fabricate desire. You are quite happy until you see someone else with a big head, new head. You say, I want that. You are unhappy. You are not seeing the blessings that you got.
I have another formula. It's the definition of pain is the difference between expectations and reality.
Ah, that's right.
You know.
Yeah, same is the
It's like Byron
connection.
Katie says, anytime you fight against reality, you only lose 10% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one side is this desires I create. On the other side, truth. How much of the truth I know. I'm not saying truth, some secrets of other people's life, but the bigger truth. If I can understand the big truth, truth is beautiful. And another spiritual principle, truth is beautiful. More you understand the truth, that will directly connect you to happiness. And that awareness is a step towards it. Even knowing our own truth. And present, our society, we are so caught up into so many things around. We don't have time to find out who am I even. Or some basic things, about our origins, where we come from, about God. We are quite happy with that, some confusion. But if you discover this, it has direct connection. Because truth is beautiful. So some effort made to discover this truth is well rewarded. More you become free from desires. A spiritual journey also leads you to understand your independence from this world. Understand? And we'll come to this soon. But independence. So you feel, I really don't need this. I really don't need this. Your life becomes simpler. It is absolutely okay to have these flowers, but I don't need them. So if someone takes, there is no problem. I really don't need this. So more you become freer from these needs and demands and desires and preferences, you are happier. So if in your own realization you realize you don't need things that you already in the past you are hankering after, you find your happiness will become infinite. As the desires become less, happiness, dynamics change. Within Raj Yoga tradition, it is described as it has got 4 pillars. Understand? In the whole of Raj Yoga structure, Raj Yoga is the method of meditation taught here. But it has got 4 pillars. And as we are studying science, it beautifully shows these 4 pillars are necessary for our happiness. One pillar is spoken of, is service. The service of the community. And we saw here, if you are more involved in giving, it has connection with happiness. It helps you dig deeper, connect you to inside. Another principle is, we call it virtues, dharma, virtues and values. We see also it has connection to get you in touch with yourself deeper. Third, as you said, awareness. But the word used in this is meditation. Meditation. And fourth is knowledge. And as we see here, truth. Now what is this awareness and meditation? And this is the most powerful one, most effective one. To dig deeper, to get in touch with ourselves. In this, what is shown here is an image of the big picture of our world. And when we see big picture, the physical world appears very, very small. This blue box here is representing the physical world. Understand, no? The entire physical world, galaxies, but our world here is in this box. And this box is a box of limits. Limits of time, limits of space. Everything is going to change there, everything is going to end there. Understand, no? Everything that you are seeing around you is going to change and is going to end, including the body. This is the way this box is. Now, in our ordinary attitudes to life, this box is all we got. Our whole world is caught in this box. And one word rules our life. When we are positioning ourselves with this box as our world, one word rules our life. What is that word? This is what the life of everyone is. What is that one word? Yeah, say it louder. Mind. There's still another.
Divine spirit.
And still another. I. Still another.
Change.
And the word I was looking for is end. Change also bothers us. End. E-N-D. Because everything that I'm involved in is going to end.
End.
E-N-D. Yeah. So your job is going to finish. Your relationships are going to finish. Your body is going to end. Everything is going to end. And we do not like this. End. Agree, no? Your ice cream going to end. Not like it. So you are caught in this world. This is all you got. And you don't like this end. So what do? You are fighting this end. But end is a law in this box. It is going to change. I can postpone it a little bit, but this is going to change. And it is going to die. And it is going to end. And life is a life that is spent of disappointment. Disappointment is a law in this present life, in a present model. If I remove the blinkers, see the bigger picture, in this model you realize that we are guests and we are travelers here. It's common sense truth about all of us. Just like we have come in this room, very nice to be here, and we live, we have not lost anything, we are not worried about end. In the same way, a larger level, another level, the common sense truth is I'm a traveler. I come here as a guest, I use many things, I come out of it. But it is not a problem because I am not from here. I belong to a different reality. It is subtle, but that world is timeless. And as a result, it's a world of security. not just the world is secure, we ourselves are eternal. So you wake up, when you remove the blinkers, you are seeing the bigger picture. In this bigger picture, eternity is not just a concept, but it is normal. Your own immortality and immortality of everyone else, eternity of the world, that becomes normal. And once you have seen this, once you have experienced this, this world becomes an extra experience. Say you are planning to come to the event today, to the talk. Say it was cancelled for whatever reason, weather or something, it is cancelled. You say, no problem, I go back home. It is an extra event for you. It is not a desperation. Understand, no? So, same thing happens here. Person who is awake, spiritually awake, he finds this is extra. I was hoping I will be there for 90 years, but if it is 1 year less, more, really not a big problem. Understand, no? Even if the whole thing is cancelled, it is not a problem. Agree? So this is the position of one who is awake. And when you are secure to this level, you are connected. When you said awareness, it connects you to your inner resource. It connects you to your, not just peace and happiness, you discover your noble personality. And this is the way we all are made. We all are having this original personality that is not a pretense. When we lead a superficial life, we have to pretend to be nice and pretend to be loving and pretend to be, and there can be something else going on behind. But it is we ourselves don't like this. When we discover our security, your original personality is of, as she said, of giving. You are connected to that genuine love, silent love for everyone. Not having any agenda of manipulation or getting something back. No, it is there. This is when you are secure and when you have this emotional stability, your thinking is also clear, your concentration is greater. You discover your highest personality. Understand? Mm-hmm. In this there is not just happiness, but there is happiness comes with its friends. Mm-hmm. Understand? The most important thing in this personality, there is no reason for sorrow. Ordinarily we may have these kind of experiences, we have sometimes happiness and sometimes peace, sometimes love. But it also gets mixed with some drops of worry and drops of disappointment. All that is also mixed up. It spoils that works. Here in this mind, there are no drops of poison. That's why we use the word noble. It is clean inside and out. And that is the mind of all of us. So all that we are doing, trying to reach this, dig deeper and discover this. And something of this kind, this work cannot be done by anybody else. You cannot do this job for your friend. You cannot do it for your children. This is such a thing, I have to do it myself. We saw some guidelines, we said 4 pillars. We have to work on all these 4 fronts. I also feel this is a very important one. We use the word yoga for this meditation. Understanding is the first step. We understand big picture. Very, very useful. But it is not enough. We are trapped in this box in a ridiculous way. I am talking about these ideas, but also it doesn't mean I am free from that box. we have to create time to create this clarity, remind ourselves, come back in this experience, create time for that. The more you create time, it grows, it becomes stronger, more you are strong inside to resist the desires of fear. That cheap superiority, cheap excitements, you become strong to resist it, and then it becomes a progress upward. I'll tell you one story, and then I will stop before I'm told I'm talking too much. You like a story?
Yeah.
In this story, one eagle laid an egg amongst the eggs of the hen. And the baby eagle started to grow with the hen. And it is trying to become a good hen. And everybody is complaining, this is a funny looking hen. What is this? And doesn't know to scratch properly. So this eagle is trying its best to become a good hen, and life is difficult. One day it sees another eagle in the sky. It says, wow, what is that in the sky? And everyone says, that is king of the birds. That is eagle that can cross the mountains and that can cross the bay and can reach Los Angeles and miss the traffic. But we are chicken. We belong to the ground. We scratch around during the day, at night we get locked in. So this eagle listens to chicken, complains why it was not an eagle, continues to scratch around like a chicken, and one day dies as a chicken. What is the message?
Be yourself.
Yeah, what you believe. Yeah.
And be yourself.
Be yourself. Yes, excellent. What else?
If you want to soar like an eagle, don't hang with the chickens.
That's right. Fly.
Don't have the story limit you.
That's right. Yes.
Whatever we believe, that's true.
Excellent. Yeah, there are two things, and that story really tells us our situation. And one is we underestimate ourselves. And this is our present situation. We may hear things, but we chicken, we like to believe they are chicken when they are really eagles. And other message is don't listen to chicken.
Yeah.
Fly. If someone tells you eagle, believe it and just fly. You will discover you are the eagle. So good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.